para mí acompañarles hoy para presentar el documento del Programa de País para Guatemala para el periodo 2022-2025. Particularmente, me permito agradecer al distinguido representante de Guatemala por el apoyo recibido por las autoridades de su país y por nuestras contrapartes durante el proceso de diseño incluyente y riguroso de este CPD. El PNUD tiene el privilegio de profundizar nuestra asociación con Guatemala a través del nuevo programa que presentamos hoy, alineado con las prioridades nacionales, con el marco de cooperación para el desarrollo sostenible de las Naciones Unidas y con el plan estratégico del PNUD. Aprovecho esta oportunidad para expresar también mi solidaridad y nuestra disponibilidad siempre para Guatemala con la situación que ha implicado la crisis sanitaria y la crisis económica que ha derivado de esta. Let me turn into English now. With the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2030 as our aspirational line of sight, the landing of the agenda at the national and subnational levels requires interpreting the greatest challenges and obstacles faced by countries to achieve sustainable development, and these are usually multidimensional in nature. Our approach to contribute to the country's development goals is through a three-lane road of productivity, inclusion, and resilience to face the challenges of low growth, inequality, and vulnerability. These three lanes, which are interconnected, are underpinned by effective governance. In the case of Guatemala, as with many other Latin America and the Caribbean countries, it is a region of middle income, working towards a more effective economy, more efficient economy, and moving towards a more equitable and prosperous society. I would now like to highlight briefly the strategic areas of the country program for Guatemala, namely strong institutions, how to strengthen and transform state institutions for effectiveness and for effective delivery to citizens under democratic institutions, peace, security, and justice, namely to reduce barriers to access to culturally sensitive populations for justice, diminishing social conflicts, and guaranteeing inclusive participation, building resilience for adaptation to climate change, specifically to promote resilient recovery processes, sustainable use of biodiversity, and advance in climate action, and sustainable and inclusive socioeconomic development, in particular through effective social protection systems. The country program is guided by the principle of leaving no one behind, and will mainstream gender equality into all of the previously mentioned areas. The country program is fully aligned with the national priorities as established by the government of Guatemala related to post-COVID-19 socioeconomic recovery. It focuses on the most vulnerable populations by supporting social policies, employment generation, strengthening institutional capacities of the state at the national and subnational levels, and protecting the environment. In delivering on the expected results of the UN Cooperation Framework and the country program document, UNDP will leverage thematic expertise and apply innovative and empirical approaches. UNDP will further extend its integrator role, including monitoring the socioeconomic impact of COVID-19, seeking synergies with other United Nations agencies, different government sectors, and other stakeholders in the country, providing a comprehensive solutions to complex development issues. UNDP will collaborate with the government to facilitate South-South and triangular cooperation, identifying and facilitating the systematic exchange of good practices and innovation from countries of the Global South, among actors such as public institutions, academia, civil society, intergovernmental, sub-regional and binational mechanisms. UNDP will support Guatemala with its positioning in the multilateral bodies, and fora. It is important to note in closing that, that this program is harmonized with the agencies, funds, and programs of the United Nations system in Guatemala by incorporating work jointly. In particular, the country program is coordinated with UNFPA, UNICEF, UN Women, ILO, PAHO, UNEP, UNIDO, UNITAR, FAO, OHCHR, and IOM to achieve the identified goals. Mr. President, we submit for consideration this draft document of the Guatemala Country Program with its respective allocation of resources, of which $2 million are financed by regular UNDP resources and $229 million are to be mobilized from other resources, such as the Environmental Vertical Funds, the Government of Sweden, the Peace Building Fund, among other sources and donors. We welcome your comments and questions, and thank you very much for your attention.
I thank Mr. Lopez for his presentation, and now open the floor for comments and questions.
I would like to take the floor, Mr. President.
Yes, my brother, you can.
Thank you. Thank you again, Mr. President, dear Brother Lang. We would like to offer some brief reflections in the context of this meeting for the approval of the country program document of the United Nations Development Program for Guatemala. We appreciate the presentation by the distinguished UNDP representative, ASG, and Regional Director, Luis Felipe López Calva. Muchas gracias, Luis Felipe, por la presentación. Muy agradecido. We welcome the country program document for Guatemala as it represents a document with national ownership, which is aligned with the cooperation framework for sustainable development, with our own national development plan and with the 2030 agenda. We believe that the priorities identified in the document of addressing strong institutions, peace, security, and justice, building resilience for adaptation to climate change, and investing in sustainable and inclusive socioeconomic development are critical to achieving the goals of sustainable development in my country. In this regard, we wish to thank UNDP for its efforts in the document preparation process, as well as the main partners and donors who will make its implementation possible. We hope to continue and strengthen the excellent relationship with UNDP, and we thank all the members of the Executive Board for their support for the approval of the country program document for Guatemala. I thank you, UNDP, and I thank you all.
Thank you very much, my brother Lam. I would now give the floor back to ASG, Mr. Lopez, for a response. ASG Lopez, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just briefly want to express our gratitude for the participation of His Excellency, the PR from Guatemala. Muchas gracias, Embajador. And we will certainly continue our very strong collaboration. And we thank the trust and all the collaboration that we have had in the past and we will have in the future. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, SG Lopez Calva, for the response. Colleagues, this concludes our review of the country program document for Guatemala in accordance with Executive Board Decision 2014/7. May I take it that the country program document may be approved? I see no objections. It is so decided. Thank you, ASG Lopez Calva, and once again, congratulations, my brother Lam. All the best.